Okay, so I've been asked to put this pattern together. It's the olive nymph. Now if you're following the channel, you will know that this pattern does catch quite a few fish.
Pick that up straight away, first cast, small little nymph. Cracking fish.
But why is it catching so many fish? Now it could be a combination of the pattern and the way that it's fished. When we're fishing this pattern, most of the time it's normally on a floating line, longer tippet, and with a bit of pace and keeping it higher in the water. Over a long period of time, we've tweaked this pattern, reducing the amount of flash and switching the throat hackles for a dubbing. And the dubbing then is a lot easier for a lot of people tying in. But not only that, you can mix it up a little bit, such as this one, where I've put in a little bit of flash. When the pattern did start off, it did have a lot more flash, but what we've done is reduce that, realising that it only takes a small bit of flash to get the fish's interest. But this pattern, what we have found, that even when we're fishing it a lot slower or almost static, that the fish do tend to pick it up. But it is most definitely better fished a lot quicker. This sort of pattern can help us cover the water quickly, and by doing that it'll help you locate where the fish are at. So what we'll do, go through the materials, show you what you need. So first of all, the hook, and it's the Hammock Competition size 12, and the tying thread, uni thread in olive, the soft wire copper, bit of uni mylar, again that's in pearl, body stretch, bit of cock hackle for the tail, and then the dubbing, I'm using the stickle dub, again in the olive, but what I'm doing is I'm mixing in something that's got a little bit of flash. It doesn't really matter what it is you're putting in. This is a dubbing material, but I'm putting a small amount of this, probably about 20% of this, into this, mixing them up, and then I'll put that into a separate packet. But that will be just enough flash. This isn't meant to be a flashy fly. Okay, so if you're out there and you're learning tying flies, I think this will inspire you, because the one thing that you're going to see is that I am not that great at tying the flies, due to my eyes and my hands, which you'll notice during the video. But these are fishing flies, they're not showroom flies, and you will definitely see the difference when you're out on the water. These more buggy looking type patterns do tend to attract more fish. Okay, so we'll tie this in. Okay, so once we put the thread on, line up the tail feathers, and depending on what length you want them at, it's not critical. I do prefer a bit shorter than too long. So basically I'm going from the hook point to the bend, roughly about there. Tie them in loosely as you would, and check them, get rid of the waste. Tying in the copper wire again there. I've just cut the copper wire. I'm using my scissors, so I'm not using the front of the scissors, I'm just right at the back of the scissors, keeping all the rest of them for the finer stuff. I've had them scissors for years and I've not had a problem. Touch wraps as close as you can get on the way down and back up. It's not really worth trying to taper this. You can if you wish, but to be honest, a good 1/3 of this is going to be covered with the thorax. Run your copper wire up, and I'll bring this right the way up. Tie that in. Get rid of your copper. Build that up slightly. Want your body stretch. Okay, one little trick that I'll show you. If you've got your body stretch, this particular body stretch, I don't know what it is, it's probably closer to about 8mm in its width, and that's going to be far too wide for what I want. Now, I have seen sometimes with the boys, or a lot of people, they're trying to use this scissors to cut this, and that is very difficult. I use a Stanley blade. Now, even with the Stanley blade, if you're trying to cut that, it's going to be moving all the time. Easiest way is to get a straight edge and lay that on what width you're wanting. Put that bit of weight on there and then just gently follow that through, and that is in, and you'll have a nice clean edge every time. Dead simple. Pull that exactly where you want it. Now, if the body stretch tends to be a bit one side the other, remember you're going to be bringing a tying thread down a bit, so you've got a chance to align it to where you want it, and how far you bring it down is entirely up to you. Now, I will come down, you know, you keep checking where it's going to be. It's surprising as you're holding it back this way, it looks quite a bit, but bear in mind you're going to have the uni-miler on there and that dubbing, so you want to allow for that. Now, what I'm doing, because I brought the copper wire up so far, I'm getting rid of those ribs by filling it out a little bit, and it gives it that little bit more bulk. Then we'll tie in the uni-miler. Just wrap that round. It's only the bottom half you need to cover, and I'm going over it and building it up quite a bit. It's just to give it that little bit of a twinkle. And put the dubbing on. Again, you don't need too much of that. Just check. Get back in the front. Couple of turns. Push in all of this down. Now, you might want your dubbing brush to pull that down. I don't really need to. More like a builder's hand. You can probably tell. So for me, I don't have to worry. Pull that back a little bit. Make sure that's well down. Pull over the body stretch. The body stretch is only there just to keep those dubbing fibres pointing downwards where you want them. But it is a very good pattern. It works very well for us. Pull that back. There's a little fibre there. Trim that off. Build up a nice little head. Whip finish. As I say, you fish it higher, we normally fish it faster. We cover a lot of water with these patterns. They're, if you like, a searching pattern as much as anything. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Give us a subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up, comment. Any interaction for the video is all good stuff. So until next video, take care.